Hello, little man. Hello. Hi guys. I am multitasking at the moment because I am in a hurry to get back to the rescue house, but I have some amazing news that I just could not wait to share with all of you guys. I'm literally like jumping out of my skin right now. So I want to make sure that everybody is on. Hi guys. Okay, so there's some good people on. You can see me, you can hear me. It is an absolutely beautiful, wonderful Friday. And the reason is, I'm going to show you. Look who my co-pilot is. Hi, bud. Where's my Daltons? Where's my Dalton? Hi, buddy. I know you want pets. You want pets? Our beautiful, adorable, sweet, amazing little guy, Dalton, got the okay to be released from the critical care hospital, Coral Springs Animal Hospital, where he has been for 2 weeks at least, I think. I'd have to look back at the exact date that he was taken in after he was hit by a car. But he was taken in to Lauderdale Veterinary Specialist at first by what we had just found out today that we didn't know, dear friends of ours and two-time adopters who happen to be firefighters. He actually just came by the rescue house today to get an update on Dalton, and I was able to tell him that I was picking him up today, that he was being released because it had happened in front of his fire station, which we had no clue. Hey, Dalton. Hey, little man. Hi. So he was brought into LVS where they got him stable, took x-rays and saw the damage, that his pelvis was broken and his hip was broken. And we were called to ask if we would take him on. Otherwise, they would have to either euthanize him or send him to the county shelter. So, of course, Amy said yes. I ran and got him and took him immediately to Coral Springs Animal Hospital, which you guys saw those videos of me taking him there, where he underwent surgery the next day, a FHO surgery. There was a couple of issues on both sides, which I just read in the discharge instructions, but the major surgery was the FHO surgery. And then a couple of days after that, maybe even close to a week, the surgeon called and said, you know what, he's just not peeing right, and he's leaking, and they couldn't get the catheter in for the surgery, so they were suspect of a tear. And after us going, back and forth from LVS again to figure out what exactly was going on, we found out there was indeed a tear in his urethra. There was urine leaking into his body, and it was not a good situation. It was a very grave situation, and we had one shot at this operation to insert the catheter through his side into his bladder and then out his urethra, out his penis. And if that didn't work, we were going to be hit with a very hard decision. Luckily, we prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed, and it worked. It was a success. They were able to get the catheter in. It stayed in for 7 days. They took it out yesterday. They retested it with the contrast to check to see if there was any leaks, and there was no leaks. The tear is completely healed. He is urinating on his own, and he is able to leave the hospital. The most amazing news I've heard in weeks was that the catheter worked, and then to hear that it healed and he was able to go, I just could not wait to pick him up. So he is on his way with me back to the rescue house, where we have him set up in the bathroom. We have a bed and pee-pee pads down. It's a nice small area for him because he is still recovering from his FHO surgery. And we have to kind of take it slow with him as far as his walking around and his mobility. So the bathroom is actually a perfect spot for him for the next couple of weeks, if we still have him for the next couple of weeks. He will be starting rehab next week with Dr. Cannon at Lauderdale Veterinary Specialists. They have an underwater treadmill and they have therapy there, so we're going to get him started on that, which of course we are going to need help with paying for that as well. We did have a balance on the bill today at Coral Springs when we picked him up that Amy had to pay. I think it was roughly $2,000 was left that we had to pay when we picked him up. And like I said, we are going to be starting rehab next week, which is an additional cost, of course. That is why the PayPal link is listed on this video. If you guys have $1 to spare towards his rehab, it would be hugely appreciated. Hi, little man. Hi, little man. I can't tell you how excited I am to have him in the car with me and have him not crying in pain and know that he is okay and that he's going to be okay and he's got the rest of his life ahead of him. We will be taking care of his rehab, but we would love a foster or an adopter for this little guy. That would be amazing. It would be ideal for him. If anybody is interested, you can email us at 100plusabandoneddogs@gmail.com. We can get him moving on to his new forever home, to have the best life he could have, not running the streets, getting pummeled by a car. He deserves to be loved and spoiled and cuddled on a couch and sleeping in a bed. He loves to be pet. Hello, little man. He's got the most beautiful, soulful little eyes. Don't you? Don't you, Dalton? If you guys are asking me questions, I apologize. I am driving at the moment, so I'm watching the road and not looking down at my camera. I know I have it positioned so it's on him, but I'm not actually looking at it. So if you are asking questions, I apologize. Once we get to the rescue house and get settled, I'll be able to go back and look and see if there's any questions that you guys have that I can answer. He is on quite the cocktail of medications at the moment for the next, I believe I've got a week to 2 weeks worth of medications for him. Of course, he's on gabapentin for pain. He's on a medication to help with urination so that he doesn't strain. He's on some probiotics. He is on trazodone to keep him calm, again, because he is still healing. We don't want him getting super excited and trying to run around or jump around. So he'll be on trazodone while he's healing. And I think there was one other one in there. I'm not sure. But the good news is that the catheter worked, his urethra tear, which was in the worst possible place there is, according to all the surgeons and all the doctors who saw the report, was able to heal, and he is able to urinate on his own. And now we just have to help him heal and relax, and then get him started in rehab for the FHO surgery. He did walk out to me on a leash. He's just barely toe tapping it. But they said that's to be expected right now, because after the surgery, we immediately were dealing with the tear, and then he had to be completely sedated for a week after they put the catheter in, because he could not move around, because if he moved around, he could pull at the catheter. It would take longer to heal. So he really hasn't had the ability to walk on or rehab the FHO surgery as of yet, because we had to keep him sedated. So that is what we are going to work on in the next week. Baby steps. Hi, little man. Hello, little man. But this little life is sitting in this car with me because of all of you. We begged, we cried, I cried, Amy cried. We moved him back and forth from 2 different hospitals. And we begged you guys to please come through with the money for us to be able to give him every opportunity to heal from these terrible injuries from him being hit by a car, which, by the way, the car took off. They didn't stop. They hit him and kept going. We found that out today as well. Kimberly, I don't know if you're on here watching. I know your man doesn't have Facebook. He told me he doesn't have Facebook. It's only you. But we had no idea it was you guys. We had no idea that it was him, that it was his station, until he showed up at the rescue house today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you all for coming through for us and one of our rescues once again. Because of you, this little guy is enjoying his car ride. This time you're enjoying it, right, Dalton? Not like the last 4 times I've had him in my car when he's been crying in pain. This car ride, he's actually enjoying. And it's because of you guys. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I am going to sign off, and when I get him settled and everything at the rescue house, I'll jump back on, or I'm sure if Amy is there at the house, she's going to want to see him, and she might jump on and do a video. But I just was so elated that I was picking him up. I had to share it with all of you. Happy, happy, happy Friday. Dalton was released from the hospital and is on his way to the rescue house. This is Tiffany with Dalton, 100 Plus Abandoned Dogs of Everglades, Florida.